Well, hello there, everyone. This is Mr. D coming to you with another video from God's Holy Word. We are currently in the Old Testament. We are in 2 Samuel, and we are getting ready to do chapter 8. Now, some people ask what time in history this was approximately. According to my King James Version, the one book that I'm reading from, it says that we're looking at around 985 years before Jesus. This chapter dealing with still the world of King David and his family. Well, I'd like to start with a prayer if we could. Dear Lord, if we would ask that you would please be with us. We ask that you know that we're trying to reach out to you, understand you, and to grow closer to you with every word that we read about you and the strength that we get about you. In a world that's trying to tear you down through Satan, we ask to give us the strength, the wisdom to know right from wrong. We ask this in your name. Amen. Well, if you haven't marked my subscribe buttons, that would be good. And likes are fantastic. I mean, they help make my world and God's world grow across the whole world. So, as I've said, we are currently in chapter 18. Let's see if we can get a little light over here. Okay. Oh, look, I got light on my face now. All right. And I'm going to see if I can raise my stand up a little bit so it's closer to my face. You know, see here. I'm going to raise it up just a hair. If I can find the turn doohickey. I think I did. Huh. Yeah, I think I did. Well, maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. But it's closer. And we're going to start off with chapter 18. And we're still talking about um, Absalom. Absalom, David's son, you know. Well, it starts off verse 1. And David numbered the people that were with him and set captains of thousands and captains of hundreds over them. And David sent forth a third part of the people under the hand of Joab. Now, Joab also is part family too, I understand. I just was finding out that he's one of the sons of David's sister. And a third part under the hand of Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother. See, right there it tells you it was brother. And a third part under the hands of Itati, Itatiti, Itati, a Gittite. And the king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you myself also. And they reply on verse 3. But the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, they will not care for us. Neither if half of us die, will they care for us. But now thou art worth 10,000 of us. Therefore now, if it is better that thou secure us out of the city. When I was preparing for this chapter, I saw this word secure. Succor. I said, I've never seen that word. I looked up and I guess it has to do with security, responsibility to protect. And he's the head, he's the king, he's the top. It's like if you were going to kill a snake, what would you do? You cut his head off, right? You don't worry about his body, cut his tail off, half his body. He's still going to get you. So, verse 4, and the king said unto them, What seemeth you best, I will do. And the king stood by the gate aside, and all the people came out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and unto Abishai and to Ittai, saying, Deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom. And the people heard when the king gave all the captains charge concerning Absalom. If I was going to go out, I'm stopping. If I had to go out and look for my son, even though my son would have been trying to take over my empire, if you read any previous chapters, and he's been trying to take over all the Israelites, I still would love him, just like God. All the things we do, and what's he do? He still loves us. I don't know why, but he does. And I'm very glad he does. Not because I'm going to be in heaven, but because I know that someone who can care that much for us under everything we do has to be awesome. It is. Verse 6. So the people went out. And remember, he said in verse 5, please bring back my son. Not in exactly those words, but we all know. It says, all the people heard when the king gave all the captains charge concerning Absalom. That means to be careful. So the people went out into the field against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim, where the people of Israel were slain before the servants of David. There was a great slaughter that day of 20,000 men. For the battle was there scattered over the face of all the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule, and the mule went under a thick bough of a great oak, and his head of caught hold of the oak, and was taken up between the heaven and the earth. And the mule that was under him went away. And a certain man saw it and told Joab and said, behold, I saw Absalom hanging in an oak. Well, that's going to be kind of good, don't you think, my friends? Here at verse 10, as we fin, they finally found Absalom, and that means Absalom now was in falling. It looks like he's going to fall off his mule. He's okay. That means that they can take and capture him and take him back to his dad. His dad can deal with him, not the people. Verse 11. And Joab said unto the man that told him, and behold, thou sawest him, and why didst thou not smite him there to the ground? And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and girdle. And the man said unto Joab, I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in my hand, yet would I not put forward my hand against the king's son. For in our hearing the king charged thee, and Abishai and Ithiah, saying, beware that none touch the young man. That says nobody, none touch the young man, Absalom. Well, I think King David was very, very, very clear about that. Well, what happens? Let's see here. We're on verse 13, by the way. Yeah, verse 13. Otherwise, I should have wrought falsehood against mine own life. For there is no matter hid from the king, and thou thyself wouldst have set thyself against me. Then said Joab, I may not tarry thus with thee. And he took 3 darts in his hand and thrust them through the heart of Absalom, while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Absalom, I'm sure, is dead 3 times in his heart by Joab. Don't understand that. See, Joab is David's sister's son, and Absalom is David's son. They're like cousins. I don't understand the deviance of being in power. 15, and 10 young men that bear Joab's armor compassed about and smote Absalom and slew him. Probably to camouflage what Joab did. And Joab blew the trumpet, and the people returned from pursuing after Israel, for Joab held back the people, and they took Absalom and cast him into a great pit in the wood, and laid a very great heap of stones upon him, and all Israel fled, every one to his tent. Now Absalom in his lifetime had taken and reared up for himself a pillar, which is in the king's dell. For he said, I have no son to keep my name for remembrance. And he called the pillar after his own name, and it is called unto this day Absalom's place. So Absalom's place is where this pillar was put down to represent him. Then said Amahaz, the son of Zadok, let me now run, bear the king tidings, how that the Lord has avenged him of his enemies. You know, sometimes we need to be careful when we say the Lord did this and the Lord did that. I think it's good that Absalom is probably not there to take King David's position, but I don't think, my opinion, I don't think God, with the love he has in him for his people and all the people that were following, had to have some form of, it's just, sometimes people just don't get along with each other. Doesn't mean they both don't see the same God. So I'm not sure if I would want to say that in this verse where it says, Lord has avenged him, his enemy. I don't want to say that God intentionally, because you know why? Because Absalom wasn't killed in a form of battle. He was helpless. He was in the air, and someone just cold-bloodedly just killed him, and then made it look like a group killing. That's not the way God works. God's out front and doesn't hide. He has no reason to hide. He is God. And continue in verse 20. And Joab said unto him, Thou shalt not bear tidings this day. Don't tell nobody. But thou shalt bear tidings another day. But this day thou shalt bear no tidings, because the king's son is dead. Because he wants it to be an important day. But he still hasn't told anybody what happened. He's being kind of. Verse 21. Then said Joab to Cushi, Go tell the king what thou hast seen. And Cushi bowed himself unto Joab and ran. Then said Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok, yet again to Joab, But howsoever, let me, I pray thee, also run after Cushi. And Joab said, Wherefore wilt thou run, my son, seeing that thou hast no tidings ready? But howsoever, said he, let me run. And he said unto him, Run then. Ahimaaz run by the way of the plain and overran Cushi. Well, 24. And David sat between the two gates, and the watchman went up to the roof over the gate unto the wall. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a man running along. And the watchman cried and told the king. And the king said, If he be alone, there is a tiding in his mouth. And he came apace and drew near. And the watchman saw another man running. And the watchman called unto the porter and said, Behold, another man running alone. And the king said, He also bringeth tidings. So now we have two people running to the king to tell him about what happened to his son. And the watchman said, Methinking of the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok. And the king said, He is a good man, and cometh with good tidings. And Ahimaaz called and said unto the king, All is well. And he fell down to the earth upon his face before the king, and said, Blessed be the Lord thy God, which hath delivered up the men that lifted up their hand against my lord the king. And the king said, Is the young man Absalom safe? He's hoping, his son's okay. And Ahimaaz announced, when Joab sent the king's servant and the men thy servant, I saw a great turmoil, turmoil. But I knew not what it was. And the king said unto him, turn aside and sit here. And he turned aside and stood still. I wonder what's going to happen. And behold, Hushai came, and Hushai said, tidings, my lord the king, for the Lord has avenged thee this day of all them that rise up against thee. And the king said unto Hushai, is the young man Absalom safe? And Hushai answered, the enemy of my lord the king, and all that rise against thee to do thee hurt, be as that young man is. I think he's trying to say that everybody that's dead is like his young man in a kind of a backwards way, you know? And the king was much moved, probably depressed, and went up to the chamber over the gate and wept. And as he went, thus he said, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom. But God I had died for, Absalom, my son, my son. Imagine how depressed David was to lose your son that you love so much. I don't know. But I know there's more coming because remember, Joab was behind this little mishap. And Joab, I'm sure, is not going to be on the good side for much longer. I think Joab, in the next few chapters of this book, may encounter a few more problems. Let's see here. Well, I don't see anything on my headings for him, but I sure don't think he's got a good chance being a murderer in David's son. We're going to find out. I hope you need to come back to chapter 19. Now, this is Mr. Dean. I hope that you mark my subscribe button, and I hope you mark some of my likes. May God be with you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. God bless.